Today, we're going to talk about getting out of our comfort zone in order to speed up our recovery and our evolution into the next level of our lives. So let's just jump right into it. In the months before I left my ex-husband, I became acutely aware that I needed to do it. All the signs were there. Everything that was happening was clear to me. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't the type of life that I wanted. It wasn't what I was really into, but something was keeping me stuck. And I didn't know exactly what it was. In hindsight, now I recognize it was that feeling of being comfortable. So I know you're like, wait a minute. You were with a toxic narcissist and you're telling me that you were comfortable? Yeah, it was true. I was quite comfortable because I had been with him for a long time. I had grown accustomed to living with him. When we met, I had just gotten out of college. I was just a little more relaxed in general. And so when I met him, I was still in that relaxed stage and I didn't really feel like I was going to be able to move forward with someone else or by myself. I just felt like it was comfortable to be there. And even though I found myself writing pages and pages in my journal about how miserable I was in that relationship, this other part of me thought I was comfortable. This big part of me felt like there was this benefit to staying with the wolf I knew as opposed to jumping out into the one I didn't. Does that make any sense? And if we're being honest, I didn't want to have that conversation that we have when we tell them, you know what, it's over, I'm leaving. Because that conversation is really uncomfortable. And I didn't want to have to start my life all over again. That was uncomfortable. I didn't want to have to move. I didn't want to have to get a full-time job or I'd have to put my kid in daycare because at the time I had a really great job working part-time. They didn't pay me much, but for this company, they let me bring my son to work with me. So I didn't have to worry about daycare, but unfortunately I couldn't support us on that money. And leaving would mean I'd have to start all over again and become really uncomfortable. I got to be honest, getting out of my comfort zone, no easy task, but it was necessary, especially if I was ever going to be happy. Today, I'm going to share with you 10 strategies that you can use to get out of your comfort zone and get past the part where you're just staying stuck, to get past the part where you're feeling like this is enough, to get past the part where you're thinking to yourself, is this all there is? Because sometimes change and personal evolution, it requires, I want to say all the time, it requires you to get a little bit uncomfortable. You with me? We all know that as humans, we love to be comfortable. It's one of our strongest urges. And when we have experienced toxic relationships with narcissists, feeling comfortable seems quite preferable to discomfort, even when discomfort can be exactly what we need to grow and progress and move forward and evolve in our lives. The unfortunate part is that if we are honest with ourselves, the desire to be comfortable and to stay that way, it's sort of a prison. It is very difficult to go forward, to grow forward, to move forward in your life, to change anything if your primary goal is comfort. That's tough, right? Escaping your comfort zone is not just important, but necessary if you really want to have a better life, a more exciting or more fulfilling life, or just a healthier life. Just think about this. Like when you go on a diet, nobody wants to go on a diet. It's more comfortable to eat whatever you want. But when you do that, you create a healthier body for yourself, maybe as long as you're dieting healthy. Or if you decide that you want to remodel your house and you're going to do the work yourself, or even if you're not, there's going to be a period of discomfort when things are changing in the house and everything's messy and crazy. Even if you're not the one doing the work, you're still going to be a little uncomfortable. So here are the strategies that you can use to move beyond your comfort zone and create a more meaningful, happier, fulfilling life. The first one, grab a pen and paper, make a list. I love my lists, but take a few minutes and make a list of all the things that make you feel uncomfortable. Think about what it is that makes you personally uncomfortable. Is it crowds? Gotta be honest, crowds is a thing for me. Is it like playing your guitar in front of other people or singing in front of other people? Have you ever written a short story and put it online? Do parties make you uncomfortable? Does dating make you uncomfortable? The idea of it maybe? Does speaking to new people make you uncomfortable? Whatever it is, take some time, write down a whole list of anything that you can think of that makes you uncomfortable. Number 2, learn to soothe yourself. This is a tough one, self-soothing. Some people are just naturally better at this than other people. And some people, anybody can really learn how to do it and strengthen their ability toward it if they choose to. So one really simple but effective way of doing this is to start by focusing on the part of your body where you feel the most discomfort, right? So for me, if I'm stressing about some new thing I have to do, I don't want to do, or like leaving a narcissist or whatever, I'm probably going to feel it in my chest, maybe my stomach, that area. And for most people, it is the head, chest, or stomach area that it kind of hits. So take a minute and put your full discomfort on that area of your body and feel it. Let the discomfort be there. Feel it for a minute. Then breathe fully and relax that part of your body. You might even imagine sort of a tube coming out of that area that allows it to be released, that discomfort feeling, like oil coming out of a well, just and so again, that could be a silly visual, but I think sometimes silly visuals are great ways to create pattern interrupts in yourself. And so that you can stop whatever that negativity is and replace it with something more effective. You can practice this all day long and use it often. So if you're sitting in traffic and you're finding yourself feeling annoyed, bust out that technique. If you're feeling nervous about a test or a meeting or something you have to do, use that technique. It works. Number 3, go to the places that make you uncomfortable. Yeah, I said it. Go through the list that you made at number 1. Find the things that are places. Like maybe you feel uncomfortable when you go to concerts, or you feel uncomfortable when you go to the bank, or whatever it is. Maybe the mall is one of them. Do they have malls where you live? They used to have malls where I live. Now there's still one around, but not very many. But let's use the mall as an example. Go to the mall. Sit at the mall on a bench or maybe in the food court and look around and take a few minutes to really think how you feel right then. How uncomfortable are you in the mall? Rate your discomfort from 1 to 10, 10 being I'm miserable, 1 being I'm cool, it's good, somewhere in between there. And if you use that soothing technique that I just shared with you in the mall, and then you rate your anxiety again, you might find yourself feeling a little better. Well, then once you've done that there, maybe you've been in the food court, move to a bench or move to a store or move somewhere else and do the same thing again. It's about sort of exposure therapy, but self-help stuff. Number 4, go down the list again and find the things that make you feel uncomfortable and pick some of them off the list. Let's say, like me, crowds freak you out. And let's say maybe you don't always like to go to concerts because of the crowds. Or maybe you feel like, going to the park and playing tennis in front of other people is freaking stressful. Or you hate parties. All of those things are places that you can practice the technique that we talked about, as well as sort of overcoming your stress levels, overcoming your discomfort slowly but surely. Number 5, and this one's going to be a really good one for my introvert friends up in here. Read things that make you uncomfortable. So if you are somebody who is, let's say, a diehard liberal, then maybe you want to read a book by your least favorite conservative pundit. Another thing, if you're scared of death, maybe you read a book by someone who's in the process of going that way due to a terminal disease, or you read a book about life after death or something like that. It's about almost intentionally making yourself uncomfortable so that you can then soothe yourself and move forward through that part. Use that soothing technique whenever you feel uncomfortable, and then make sure you read the whole book. Because again, this is something you can do at home, something you can do anywhere, and something that can, in fact, change your life in some big ways. Number 6, you want to watch some TV shows or movies or even some news that makes you feel uncomfortable. Some people, don't like movies about like corrupt politicians or bad police officers. Or some people don't like movies that have, nude scenes, or they don't like rom-coms. Maybe you're not a political talk show person, or you don't like those debate shows, or you don't like Shark Tank, whatever. Find something on television or in the movies that makes you feel uncomfortable, and then practice calming yourself down. This is another thing that introverts can do really, really easily. Number 7, create an alter ego. This is a fun one. You have a work personality, most likely, and you probably have a home personality and an out with the guys or girls personality, right? Well, all of us have certain facets of ourselves. I don't want to say multiple personalities, but we all have certain facets of ourselves that allow us to deal with different parts of our lives. If you will take a moment and sort of think about how you feel when you're experiencing discomfort, create an alter ego specifically for that purpose. I know Beyonce has one of these, and Sasha Fierce, I think she calls her, because Beyonce apparently is a secret introvert, doesn't like to perform on stage, but Sasha Fierce comes out and she is fierce, y'all. So there's an example. There are a lot of different celebrities who have talked about their little alter egos, but I think Beyonce might be the best known by now. But anyway, that's something that you can do. Create your own version of Sasha Fierce, right? Or number 8, allow yourself to be physically uncomfortable. This is a tough one. Allow yourself to be a little bit too hot or a little bit too cold, or stay up too late. Deal with the physical discomfort. The cold part can actually help you with your vagus nerve tone, which can actually make you feel safer and better. But being tired, for example, I know when I'm super tired, my legs hurt and they feel like they need to stretch all the time. And I think that might be restless leg syndrome. I don't know. But when I go to bed, I'm fine. Deal with the discomfort. Just feel what it feels like and be aware of it. And then do the self-soothing techniques, and for goodness sake, go to bed. Don't stay up too late. Number 9, books. Read books that inspire you. Whether it's the author or it's the topic, just read a book that makes you feel inspired and motivated to go forward in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. It could be a short-lived feeling even, but that's okay, because even one tiny step towards success or one little bit of success can sort of start to convince your brain that there's no reason to stick to what you're doing and that it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to move forward. Number 10, last one, plan an adventure. This can be really fun or it can be really stressful depending on who you are and where your head is here. See, personally, I'm sort of like 52% extrovert and 48% introvert or something like that. So I think that's called ambivert. I think every survivor has some part of introvert in them. And I notice we have a lot of INFJs in our community. So do something big that makes you uncomfortable and something that interests you, because the thing is that the interest you feel about that thing could help you move past the discomfort. For example, I've never left the United States. And I've often thought about, going to Europe and seeing where my people came from. I have a very European makeup, but I also have almost half Jewish. And so I definitely want to go see some of that stuff. And that would definitely make me uncomfortable. But I want to see what my people went through and where some of them came from. So because the interest that you have in that stuff can help you move past the discomfort, whatever that is. So look, what it comes down to is if you're always comfortable, you're most definitely not getting the most out of your life. You're guaranteed to be staying stuck where you are, or at least in some version of that. And I think for us, comfort is something that we don't even really recognize as comfort. It's the feeling of just being like, this is what we're used to, right? But it's almost like our enemy when we're in recovery, because if we can be uncomfortable for a minute, we can progress and we can move forward. We can be free. We can find that adventure that we need to feel something new to evolve to the next level in our lives. And I think learning to deal with being uncomfortable and turning the uncomfortable into something we're okay with and we're comfortable with, it allows us to not just escape our sort of comfort zone, but also to grow forward and have a life where we don't regret anything. Right? It's pretty amazing. The question of the day for you then, my friends, is what have you done that made you feel uncomfortable, but that turned out to be a really good thing for you? Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your experiences in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, before I go, make sure you take a look at the videos I'm leaving for you here and there. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected and continue on our healing journey together. I'll see you soon.